committee. Just state your name, who you represent. We have 2 minutes today for public testimony.
Good morning, Chairman and Committee. I'm Alicia Peterson, District 11. The mask mandates imposed restrictions have negatively affected everyone I know. My family consists of immune-compromised and medically fragile individuals, including the disabled adult with a TBA, whom I have conservatorship. She was denied services at vital medications for mental health meant to stabilize her from repeated hospitalizations. She absolutely cannot tolerate having her face covered due to past trauma. She was kidnapped, nearly beaten to death with a bat, crushing the frontal lobe of her brain. Lifeways of Nampa abandoned their patient, permanently disabled, this past June. I found out that the policy was coming from Portland, Oregon, not Idaho. This past year has been extremely difficult in trying to receive medical care in places where we had previous. Residents and medical patients of Idaho have been discriminated against, segregated, and denied necessary medical care and procedures. I personally witnessed patient neglect, mismanagement of care, and abandonment. I have spent this past year dedicating my time to patient rights advocacy more than before. I personally have been denied entry to visits by St. Luke's, unable to receive a follow-up testing, ongoing care for my heart issues and chronic kidney disease in order to maintain health, as I cannot medically tolerate wearing a mask required by the hospitals and medical facilities. Without compliance by force through coercion, intimidation, or manipulating threats of refusal, my family receives nothing. Draconian edicts forced upon the people of Idaho are happening in areas of the state where there are no mandates by the health district, such as Canyon County. Refusal of care, procedures, and treatments, especially in an emergency situation, is unethical. It violates the very oath medical professionals have taken upon receiving their credentials and license to practice. First, do no harm, lost in the world of medical healing. Mandate or recommendation, the business and hospitals have been enforcing masks as if it were a law. Forced testing, temperature scans in a general public area violates patient privacy rights. New infringements becoming normalized.
Ms. Peterson, your time has expired. Are there questions for Ms. Peterson? Seeing one from Representative Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Peterson, just a quick question. Have you considered litigation against St. Luke for denying you treatment?
Ms. Peterson?
Thank you, Representative Scott and Chairman. Yes, I have. I am just unsure exactly how to go about this and would be willing to take any suggestions for that.
Thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony today.
Thank you, and I am in support of H281. Please pass this to the House.
Thank you. Lorian Anderson. Ms. Anderson, state your name, who you represent. You have 2 minutes today for public testimony.
My name is Lorianne Anderson, and I represent myself. My objections on biblically based, however, I have been impacted personally and in my family. I was awakened one night when I was 14 years old by a stranger laying on top of me. He put his hand over my face and I could not breathe. He was so close to my face that I could only see his eyes. And I saw those eyes day and night for months and months. I would just, a mere blinking would bring his eyes back to my mind. And through the years I've healed, but now with these masks, when I go to the grocery store, those eyes are on every aisle and around every corner. And I have avoided going to the store as much as possible. It creates enormous anxiety for me. And I, even though that was many years ago, I thought it was over with. Then, so now I eat more convenience foods and less fresh foods because I just can't bring myself to go. My daughter-in-law this winter faced an emergency appendectomy at St. Luke's, and her husband was not allowed inside. Her intake was done in the parking lot, and he could not go in to use the restroom. He could not leave. He froze in his car. She was dropped off at the curb in the parking lot before she was fully awake and recovered and sent home to finish recovering at home. the Bible tells us to seek the face of God, that we're created in His image. And it also says that when He hides His face from us, it is punishment and judgment. And so there are biblical reasons that I stated.
Thank you very much, Ms. Anderson. Are there questions for Ms. Anderson? Thank you for coming today and thank you for your testimony. Monica McKinley.
Chairman, members of the committee, Monica McKinley, District 20. I'm not sure if we're actually testifying on the bill or the RS because I just came from the county courthouse.
Oh, okay.
I was
can clear
supposed
that
to-
up. I'll clear it up for you. So we're testifying on the bill,
Could I?
but the sponsor has asked that we hold the bill and introduce the RS after we have a hearing on the bill.
So this is the bill?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get my time back, please?
Ms. McKinley, just state your name, who you
Okay.
represent. We'll keep going through this. Here we go.
Okay. I was at the courthouse. I couldn't get past security. I was there. I was supposed to testify in a criminal case there this morning. I couldn't get past security without a mask. The defendant couldn't get in the building. What is wrong when a mask is more important than due process? I sat there in the lobby for half an hour waiting for permission to see if they would allow me in, and I was denied. This is out of hand. I believe that we're all intelligent enough to know that these mask rules are out of hand. Another friend this weekend in Nampa had a child who broke her arm. St. Luke's would not let them in. She finally found someplace at Seltzer who would allow them in to be seen, but she couldn't get an x-ray. So this child can't go in and get an x-ray. The masks don't work. It's not up to the government to prescribe a medical device. And I want you to pass the bill. I want you to pass 281. I don't want you to pass the RS because the RS does not, it gives the medical community a pass. And I realize that the hospital lobbyists are going to fight this. You need to stop changing the words because you're worried that the Senate won't pass these bills. Pass it. We voted you in to represent us. It is your duty to help us not have to wear these masks. Let the Senate worry about the Senate, and please pass the bill, not the RS, the bill. And with that, I stand for any questions.
Ms. McKinley, you still have 20 seconds left, so you did really well.
I'm imagining this is gonna pass anyway through here, so, I just.
You never
somebody
know
else
with
the
House
rest
State
of the
Affairs
time.
what would happen. Thank you for your testimony.
I would be really disappointed if it didn't, you guys.
Okay.
As would I.
Like that. Are there questions for Ms. McKinley? Seeing none, Lynn Laird?
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, committee, thank you so much for hearing my testimony today. I'm Dr. Lynn Laird. I'm a psychologist from Meridian, and I'm here on behalf of innumerable mental health patients who have suffered due to mask requirements. We're asking you to support House Bill 281. Do you know how many children are raped every day? Do you know how many of them have had a hand held over their mouth in order to muffle their screams and cries while they're being raped? You just heard one. They're all around, quite frankly. So imagine those children having to put a mask on to go to school every single day. Or imagine those children now grown having to put on a mask to go to work or to receive health care. These are my patients, and they're discriminated against every single day, as you're already hearing. I'm particularly disheartened at how many of my fellow healthcare providers are so myopic that they can't even see beyond one aspect of health to see the bigger picture in regard to their patients. People are forced to choose between donning a mask and reliving their trauma, or not, and then they get to lose their jobs or get denied services, adding yet one more trauma to their list. There are many reasons people can't wear masks, and most of those reasons are not obvious to the casual observer. Yet due to prejudice, those who don't wear masks are often subjected to confrontation, bullying, rejection, and even outright violence. People are forced to choose between horrible options. They can obey the orders and suffer mentally and physically from doing so, or they can try to defy the orders, but then they suffer from anxiety and despair as they think about dealing with the confrontation bullying that they're going to encounter. Or they just go without, which is rarely a viable option. Exemptions are not honored in this community. I experienced discrimination at the hands of a Boise police officer this past July when he refused to honor my exemption. And the details are included in that packet that I provided for you. Any kind of government order requiring uniform compliance with health recommendations puts an already disadvantaged population in an even more disadvantaged state and causes further trauma.
Ms. Laird, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you for your testimony today. Representative Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Lear, could you briefly just tell me what happened with the police officer?
Ms.
Yes.
Laird.
Briefly.
Yes, Chairman, Representative Scott, thank you for the question. Basically, I was at the Boise airport, sitting with my minor child who was ready to board his first plane all by himself. We were sitting there without our masks and were approached by an employee. I refused to wear the mask. So eventually, a nice police officer came over and escorted me out. I had a conversation with him leading up to that escort and all the way out, and it became extremely clear to me that he had no clue what was actually in the order. He admitted it to me, he had never read the order. I told him, I listed off every exemption to him because I had read both the city and the county orders.